Welcome to Spider-Verse Minute, the tri-weekly podcast where we watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 1 minute at a time. I'm Sean Slater.
And I'm his sister Caroline.
And today we're watching Minute 11, which opens with Miles saying that he doesn't know a girl's name, and ends a minute later with Miles walking down a dark tunnel with his uncle.
I have titled this minute, Girl Talk.
Yeah, this is one of the best jokes in the whole movie. First of all, I love how, Miles says that when his uncle asks what's her name, and Miles is like, well, you know, we're just going slow. I would hate to see if Miles's groundwork is first just like, okay, yeah, let's take it slow, a little bit, pretty soon we'll learn each other's name, and then soon after that, we might sit next to each other at lunch, and then his whole progression.
He's a very slow worker, but he's a very precise worker.
Yeah. And then in 6 months' time, maybe, 6-7 months' time, maybe we'll hold hands, and then
yeah. We're working it.
A year and a half, 2 years after that, maybe he'll, kiss her forehead, and then, yeah, and I just love Uncle Aaron just chuckling to himself at just how how much Miles tries to act cool around him, but it clearly is not cool. It's just at all.
You can see right through it. Yeah, no, I do love this one. You talked earlier on last episode about the juxtaposition of Miles and Aaron's relationship with his dad's. I see this very similar to the shoulder touch bit.
Yeah.
Is sort of a juxtaposition to say I love you back.
Yeah, and then Uncle Aaron actually, and you can tell Uncle Aaron is I feel like he's genuine in trying to give Miles some advice.
Oh yeah.
Even though Miles doesn't really, get it yet.
No, it's okay. The shoulder touch is science.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite lines. I'm telling you, man, it's science. I think it's such a fun back and forth between them. But I also love how it's you can clearly see a big difference between them where Aaron is smooth talking and honestly, if he did the shoulder touch on me, I probably would swoon. And Miles is an awkward teenager I just don't understand any of this. This is just weird.
Yeah, and then the last time he just gives up and just mocks, does it mockingly towards him.
The voice crack.
Makes the dumbest face, yeah.
It's great. It's such a fun bit and it's such a good back and forth between them.
Yeah. But then I also chuckled at when his phone vibrates and Uncle Aaron asks if that's her. Miles just have his number unsaved, or her number unsaved in his phone, just just doesn't
maybe he didn't get her name, but he got her number.
That's the first thing you're text me your name. Well, that's how you do it.
Yeah, so he doesn't have her name yet, but she's gonna text her name, or she's gonna text him her name.
Okay, maybe, but still, it seems
no,
a little odd. Usually, you text them right away when you give it to them.
Not always. Some girls like to play hard to get for some reason. I don't get it.
But yeah, I did love that whole.
Yeah. Also, did you notice, since we brought up the text, did you notice that Miles's wallpaper is graffiti?
I didn't. Yeah, I did. I didn't.
Yeah. I totally. Sure, I didn't.
No, I didn't. And what's it like? Were you able to make out what it was?
I could not make. I was looking at it for a while, but I could not make out what it says at all.
It doesn't look like his typical like name tag.
I don't. I almost think it's maybe not his, but maybe it's like a street artist or a piece of graffiti that he like really liked and it inspired him, because
Yeah.
it's a very similar style to what he does, but it's not exactly his.
Yeah.
Just a theory, a Spider-Verse theory. Sorry.
Yeah, because then we go from that to looking down at his the expectations stuff that he was working on in his.
I need to talk about this because this was actually like a really sweet moment to me. So the text is from Miles's dad, and you can kind of see Miles fade a little, but he's like, I should get back. I still got a paper to write tonight. And Aaron looks at him and he's like, oh crap, my nephew's getting down. But then he glances down and he sees Miles' art, and he immediately starts like cheering him up in a way. It's like, like, you've been holding out on me? It's like, did you put these up yet? Like, he's clearly supportive of it. And Miles, like, lightens back up a bit.
Yeah.
So it's like just a really sweet, like, uncle moment. It's like, crap, my nephew's getting down. I'm going to cheer him up. Great, his art.
And I love Miles is like, I can't, like, playfully, like, he knows he's going to, but he's got to at least put up the air of, like, no, I can't do this.
I can't do it. I do love the subway transition they use, the subway car transition.
Yeah, it's really cool that it just, like, drives across the screen.
Boom, subway.
So did you notice who was on the train?
Isn't this one of the Stan Lee cameos?
Yeah, I think this is the first one that we get of him. He's in the
I remember they mentioned it in the commentary, I think. He's like everywhere in this movie.
Yeah, he's in the middle car. You just see him standing, staring out the window. And it's one of those things
That's
where,
not
like,
disturbing.
Yeah. We're watching it at normal speed. You can't see it at all because he's only on screen for 4 frames.
Oh, jeez. That's a blink.
Yeah. Going through, frame by frame, it's like, oh, hey, there he is. And so, yeah, it's neat how they kind of stuck him in a bunch of the subways that just drive by for, like, because they appreciate him.
They appreciate it. And, like, just side note on this, because this movie did come out after his passing. I know I cried at his, like, obvious cameo because it was such a heartbreaking moment. It's like, crap, you didn't see it. But then I remember I saw a post that said that, like, no, they showed him, like, an early cut of the movie that was pretty much then released. So he did get to see the movie before he passed, which made me really happy.
Yeah.
Happy dude. I'm tearing up a little bit now, I won't lie. I'm a sap for that. So, like, but that, like, I bet he was so proud to see that, so it's kind of nice that they sort of sprinkled him everywhere in it too.
Yeah. And then once the train passes, we see Miles and his uncle walking down the tunnel.
And maybe my favorite line that I never heard until I did this, like, minute section comes out of Aaron's mouth. So Miles says, we're gonna get in so much trouble, or something along those lines. And then Aaron says, tell him your art teacher made you.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great excuse. Because I remember in art classes, we learned about street art. So it's like, it's not graffiti, it's street art. My art teacher told me to do this. It was just so funny to me, and also a great line as well.
Yeah, I did get a chuckle when I realized when I read through, like, what he said and went back and listened. I was like, oh, yeah.
I don't really have anything else to say except going back a little bit when it's just the two of them on the couch. I really like the lighting in that scene.
Yeah, it's got a nice, like, homely vibe to it.
Like, it's very comforting. It's a very relaxed vibe. I like the lighting in it. That's really all I have though for this minute.
The last thing I wanted to bring up was just on the character of Aaron Davis, and just give a little bit of background, and some of his history, um, just briefly. So, like I said in the last minute, Donald Glover played a character named Aaron Davis in Homecoming, and his first appearance, he's a relatively new character. He came about the same time Miles did, so his first appearance was in Ultimate Comics Spider-Man Volume 2, Number 1 in 2011, and he was created by Brian Bendis and Sarah Pichelli. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but they were the two of the people working on that book. So, they co-created the Aaron Davis character. We'll get a bit more into his backstory in the comics, and how they tie in, and how different things tied in with him as they come up further along in the movie.
Okay.
So I know this was a shorter episode, but not a whole lot happened. Thank you for joining us.
A lot happened. Miles got dating advice.
That's true.
Pickup line advice.
Thank you for joining us today on this episode of Spider-Verse Minute, and join us on Friday where we see where their final destination is.
Thank you for listening, and we will see you guys Friday.
Bye.